My Kyosho Optima Pro is now finished, and boy is this a cracker. Hey guys, welcome back to TAMIYA Legends, which is today Kyosho Legends, obviously. So if you don't know, this car was donated to me by my friend Keith in the US and his son Caleb. It obviously didn't look like this. I've now finished it. Yeah, I put pictures up of the video I made of the unboxing and what the car looked like. I'll also put a link to that particular video in the description of this one, should you want to look at it. So that's how I got hold of it. But anyone who's watching this who are long-term viewers of my dribble, you'll know that I have a very strong link to this from my childhood, and that's just because when I used to first ever race just at a local club on a Saturday morning, the main guy there had an Optima Pro and he kind of won everything with it. And so because I was young, I was in absolute awe of that car. I have had two Optima Pros in the past. I had a very nice one that I got professionally painted in yellow, but real life gets in the way and what have you, and I had to sell it. So to say I'm super chuffed to have this one in my collection now is, for me, is the understatement of the year. So let's get into what I've actually done with this. So I was so lucky that this particular body set came with the car itself, but obviously not cut and painted. I believe it's either a Camtech or a Penguin body set. It's 100% not TBG because I've had that before and it's way too short. So what I did was I used the old body set to sit over it, and then I drew the cut lines around it because the shell didn't have any cut lines. The under tray did, but the body shell didn't, and it's really you've really got to get it right with this because the top body absolutely combines with the under tray, so it's really important to get that right. So we got it cut out, and as you can see I played around with it, got it mounted, got the under tray fitted because that takes a little bit of work. There is about a 2mm gap at the front, which I'm not overly happy about, but I'd already cut it, so what are you gonna do? So after that, obviously sanded the edges down and whatever, made some extra cuts here and there, and get it mounted on the actual car to see what it looked like. And even though the body set was transparent at that stage, the Optima Pro's got such a unique shape, again because of the under tray and this completely enclosed sealed design that Kyosho did with it. So as I say, even looking at it like that, it just looks superb. So I was really happy with that kind of stage of it. So at that stage, it was time to get the body set sent off to the painters. Now, I'll put a link in the description to Bad Goat Body's Instagram page, should you want to check him out. He doesn't do it for a living. He may well be hoping to in the future, but right now he's not, so he just kind of does it for fun. He doesn't claim to be a professional painter or anything, but the guy's obviously got skills. He's done other shells for me as well. So it was a case of getting this packed up with a couple of other shells and getting them sent off to the UK. And then at the same time, massive shout out to my buddy Mick, RC Hobby Shed in Australia. I speak to Mick a lot, and I asked if he could sort me out with the rear shocks I needed. And luckily for me, it had a spare set of vintage rear red shocks. So when that package came, it was awesome. I opened it up because he'd actually sent me the turnbuckles I needed because I had one that was broken on the car, and he sent me some of the re shock collars as well in case I need them in the future. But right now this is sat on genuine original vintage shocks, which is just awesome. So I'll just backtrack slightly. So I got the shocks on, and then I did a little bit of the work on the chassis, obviously changed those turnbuckles over and what have you. At the same time, the Marwan tyres are turned up, which are awesome. They're the reproduction of what is the code? I think they're the Bridgestone OT22 tyres. Might have got that wrong. They do a superb reproduction of them. So they'd come, and it's in a tyre that's amazing. I like them anyway for the full tyre writing. As you can see by the pictures I've just put up, if you take your time and you get it right, they look absolutely superb. So that was a chassis just waiting for the body set. The chassis was finished, I was just waiting for that body set to turn back up. So once the body set turned up, I was absolutely blown away. It was everything I wanted and more, gotta be honest. It's at this stage, if you didn't know what I wanted the full Kyosho box art design on the shell, but I wanted it in the old magazine colours, and that's what he's given me, and it's absolutely superb. 1987, that magazine. So yeah, that was my thinking behind it, and as I say again, it was just absolutely perfect. And he did the under tray as well, you know, which is, as far as I'm aware, that's not done on the box art. It's just whatever colour the body shell is. So to put that extra detail on the under tray for me was just superb. That's what I mean by that, in case you haven't seen that. Just absolutely cock on. And then the final stage, when I got this car, it also came with an original set of decals for it, which is just mind-blowing. So yeah, it was just a case of, I've tried to pretty much go as box art as I can with the decals. And I'm pretty certain I've got it kind of how I want it. We'll talk about the end in the sort of summary, because there is a couple of things I might change, but I think the basics of it is pretty cock on to what I wanted, if I'm honest. So at this stage, let's drag the camera over and have a close-up of it, and you guys can tell me what you think. So look at that thing. That is awesome. Just to have that magazine behind it as well is just absolutely class for me. And then just open the magazine up centre spread. I know that's probably not coming across very well on camera, but that's bloody cool in my opinion. And then on this one, it's all about the angles for me. That's what makes a Pro so special. How the main body shell is cut sort of right in and moulds into the under tray. Just, there's not another car like it in my opinion. I'm trying to think, I'm sort of racking my brain out thinking of anything else similar from sort of a vintage period, but honestly can't think of anything. And then from the gorgeous side angle, it's funny because people actually think the car's dumped to the ground, you know, I mean, as in lowered. It's actually still, that car even looking as low as it does right now, that's still probably got around 12-13 mil ground clearance. It's quite deceiving because the body shell, because of the shock towers and how low the body sits below the towers, it really does give that sense of it's sitting really low. And then that gorgeous back end, I really should have put a nice Kyosho motor in there just for this bit, because obviously the motor kind of really does fill that back end up, but you get the gist of how that thing looks. And then that added bonus of that superb under tray, which I honestly didn't expect that he was going to paint it like that, but yeah, it really does look cool. That's the mistake I made where I've cut it wrong, which is unfortunate. I can probably tidy that up a little bit actually. That might be something I do in the future. So what do you think, my friends? Are you a fan? I can't imagine not many people not liking this particular vintage RC car. For me personally, as I've said from the beginning, this for me personally, it's one of the best vintage looking RC cars of all time. Again, just because it's different from everything else. I don't think it was an option from Option House that you could get a wing on it, but I do know people have put wings on them since. But for me, yeah, I don't think it needs a wing. It is what it is. So what do you think, my friends? It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Yeah, I'm just, Keith, if you're watching, and Carly, I honestly can't thank you enough. Mick, I can't thank you enough. I didn't think I would get vintage shocks, and obviously Bad Goat bodies for this superb paint job, which is more than I asked for, if I'm honest. Yeah, I'm just in love with it. I really am. But there are things I might change. I've got to be honest. The Kyosho box art usually does paints the windows black, like obviously the Pro. In fact, most of their cars are blacked out. Optima Mid, you know, things like that. So I am wondering whether to paint the black. Also, there's fins on the Pro body, which I might do in paint pen. There's 3 fins, just to put a bit of detail there, maybe. The majority of the decals I'm really happy with, apart from these, what do we say, radio control electric powered racing buggy. That is box art, but I just don't think they go particularly well, if I'm honest. So I'm in that excuse me, I'm in that stage of just sort of looking at it, and I'll just make some sort of tiny tweaks here and there, as it were. and I'll kind of know when I'm happy with it. The cut lines and the velcroing and everything, really happy with. That's all sort of worked out a treat. But once I do that in the next, I don't know, 5-6 days, whatever, I am hoping to get it out for a run. I've got a couple, I've got 3 now, Kyosho vintage brush motors that I could put in it. And it would kind of be a tick on one of my bucket list things to actually drive a Kyosho Optima Pro. Would be kind of cool. Obviously I wouldn't drive it hard, and I wouldn't use these wheels and tyres either. I'll stick some stuff on that I don't care about, but it would be nice just to drive her, because I was going to just say I've never drove a chain driven car, but I have drove a Kyosho Rocky, but it was only up and down my drive years ago, so it would be really nice to sort of get a couple of batteries for a one and just see how it goes, because I do remember these things were awesome on the old tracks. The one I raced on against this was a grass track, but it went round really well against mids and cats and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's kind of it. So as I say, a massive thank you to everyone involved in this project. It's massively appreciated, and this is genuinely one of the coolest cars I've got in my collection, just because it's got a link to my childhood, which is just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, until I run this, you won't see this again, but I'll be looking at it all the time. So I'm starting to dribble. So my friends, once again, thanks massively for watching. It really is massively appreciated. If you are new to this channel, if you could please consider liking this video and maybe subscribing to us, that would be awesome. And if you go to that extent, maybe you could hit that notification bell for our weekly videos so you don't miss any. And as always, my friends, happy RCing.